of you. Some of you we've met in Brazil, visit Brazil. Therefore, if you don't trust me in what I'm going to say here, then I have people from here that can explain the same language as you. The second language is not English, or maybe English. I mean, it's not as good as when we are in South Africa with 11 languages. That's more complicated than there. But anyway, what I brought here is just a summary of collaboration in e-government. I'll talk a little bit in the area of open source, and I'll talk about some public services, where it's an area that after several trips to South Africa, I believe is getting to the point that you don't have to reinvent some of the wheels. Let me share with you. What the vision we have is that we have many similarities. We have a extremely contrasting infrastructure, the same way we have. The only difference, I would say, our population is four times bigger than South Africa, and our area is like 8 times bigger. Therefore, you multiply your total problem by our size, and then you see it's about the same with the difference in geography. We do have the same problem as you to reduce the gap in the social and digital divide, and we also don't have money to cope with all those challenges. In this environment, we have done a lot. And I'm referring to a trip that we had with friends here. And it was very eye-opening for us to learn that they said, well, maybe South Africa has a better IT in general governance than Brazil. And we build a lot of elephants in Brazil because of this lack of governance. However, within those white elephants, there are some good elephants that we can share with South Africa. And you remember that, right? And this is basically what we're trying to bring here. It's working together for you not to reinvent the wheel and share with you some of our know-how and knowledge that we develop with our mistakes. I like this slide, and probably you like. I mean, I try to define what's e-government. Sometimes we get mixed up with e-government. What means e-government? Basically, e-government, we have 3 areas. One is the e-public administration. And when we talk about e-public administration, we'll talk about public policies and management. Public policies is basically, it's like the healthcare. You were struggling here, we're struggling there in the healthcare. How we identify each patient, how you create a unique identity for your population. You have to come up with those policies. In education, you have to come up with even agriculture, safety, public safety. This is policies. I mean, how we structure that. Without this basic infrastructure, it's difficult to do, to build some solutions. We should not go straight to solutions. We have this basic infrastructure. Now, government also has to manage their functioning. And this means public finance. I mean, how you collect taxes, how you manage your cash flow, how you handle your day-to-day activities of government. Procurement, government procurement, HR. And this is how open is government. And when I'm talking about national, provincial, and local level, I'm talking all levels. And this is something that you have to do. This is a government. There is what we define as e-public services. Tax filing is a public service. You have to do. I mean, it's not the operation of the government cash flow. It's how we interface with the government. Mobile government, public transportation, public health, public safety. Those are services provided by the government to the population, which is quite different from the public administration itself. Then we can talk about e-democracy, I mean, e-voting. We always claim Brazil, I mean, we have, it's mandatory to vote in Brazil, and then you see, you put all these people who vote, it's almost 100 million people voting, that's a bunch of people. And we do this automatically. We collect votes and we finish the election the counting in less than 12 hours. Public consultation, those are new ways of management. In addition to this, it's also responsibility of government to do the ICT governance, the standards. I mean, the IT will call it in CMMI, and that's how you foster the countries to adopt new technologies. Particularly in this case, I mentioned here the NPS, which is the this is good to have you here. I'm sorry. That's great. The ICT, this is also responsibility of government to define. The digital inclusion, I have to apologize the slide, but this is a new computer from here. It's probably open source, and then it's not working well, but anyway. But that's, how you do the, let's say, the public internet centers, digital TV is a subject that's a hard subject. How you utilize that for digital inclusion. And at the end, then you have, I mean, the digital cities. Therefore, you always within the scope of what we call e-government. You have just to select, and sometimes we make a big confusion about that. Those are different boxes with different solutions. And to the end, the ICT industry, what's your policy on hardware? What's your policy on standards and services, small, the SME, small and medium enterprise, how you promote them to create new jobs. Okay, this is basically areas that I have as a big portfolio. At the end of it, I will show some of our solutions. This is the subject that our friends at CETA knows quite well. We've been in this. I mean, basically, I'll cover the Brazilian Public Software Portal. I mean, the regulations, the sharing, how we did this, how we create the ecosystem, and how is this being now sponsored by UNDP. I've been following in the last 4 years, or 5 years almost, what's being done in South Africa. And the same happened in Brazil. We started in '94. And actually in 2003, we really started to put out open source. Therefore, the struggle and the way it goes slow here, and we are talking about that, is common. However, you don't have to invent the same mistakes we made. We can share what's already there. When we started that, the first phase was the public software portal. And there was an idea saying, oh, okay, we have 5,500 municipalities in Brazil. There is no way we can reinvent the wheel for each municipality. How can we get common applications? We didn't vote to replace Microsoft Office. We said, okay, how we do application that will be useful for the municipalities? Because with 5,500, it would be very difficult to buy each one to decide. Even the process to decide which solution to buy was confused. Therefore, let's put a portal with a bunch of solutions that will help the municipalities to get it to work. And the first phase was to the CACIC, which was IT software. That was an answer for the Brazilian force community. And when we did the first one, we learned how to do the legal processing of license, because it was not easy. I mean, the law, and as I go back to the policy, the law couldn't allow us to have this on an open source as a government entity. Okay, we had to change the law. This is done. The second one was to open a public market portal. And that was the second phase that we did in 2007. And the third phase was the group of interest that was created in 2008. In 2009, that was the consolidation of everything. We did the public software ecosystem, which became a public service. Therefore, the Ministry of Planning has the mandate to maintain the public service portal.